The curtain rises once more then on the desert stage of Sakir as the players take their places for the opening act. Will they enthrall us like they did in 2014 with that titanic battle between Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton? Well, we'll find out shortly as we get underway here in Bahrain. Formula One returns to the desert today on this exceptional 3.36-mile circuit. 15 corners provide plenty of overtaking opportunities, and 2 DRS zones will help with that as well. It could be a strategic race, this one, with Sakir notorious for eating up the rear tyres. Watch out for drivers managing their rubber at some point during the Grand Prix. Anthony Davidson is here once again for today's Grand Prix. Let's talk about the Iceman. That was a solid result in their last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, with Daniel Ricciardo slotting in alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Hamilton, Iceman and Verstappen, Alonso, Perez, Leclerc and Esteban Ocon, Magnussen, Hülkenberg, Kimi Raikkonen and Grosjean, Van Dorn, Gasly, Brendan Hartley and Marcus Ericsson, Sirotkin and Lance Stroll rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Right, let's be patient going into turn 1. We want to be in a good position for the rest of the race. Good luck.
Right, start now where we go from the start of the Bahrain Grand Prix. If we get a good start into the first corner, we get on pole. Then we get onto P6 again, and there's contact. Oh, there's almost contact between us and Hamilton, and there's contact between us and Leclerc. Leclerc has contacted us, and the FIA would not be happy with that contact from us and Leclerc. Sebastian Vettel leads the way, then Ricciardo, then Hamilton, then Bottas, and then us. Racing for the Renault Sport F1 team. And we get a corner cut fence. We're just about a second away from Valtteri Bottas. We're lap 1 of the 14 lap race around here. Behind us, Sergio Perez. Going on to the old chicane, it's not finished straight. DRS is not active until lap 3 here. Or any race. Lap 3 DRS. Go a bit wide there, yeah, car. As we get a 1 minute and 1 second and 3/10 away from Valtteri Bottas and just over 8/10 in front of Sergio Perez. So Sergio Perez will be looking for the dive down the inside on the start finish straight, and we'll attempt the dive down the corner, and we'll go to lap 2. Go around the tight chicane here. We attempt to get a dive down the inside of Valtteri Bottas. No, we don't get the dive down inside Valtteri Bottas. We try and attempt to dive down here. No diving down here, because we run a bit wide, and that leaves the door for Leclerc to try and overtake. Leclerc does not overtake. We're we're 2/10 away from Valtteri Bottas, and Leclerc is 2 seconds behind. And we run wide again, and Leclerc could catch up and get overtaken by Leclerc in the Sauber. We attempt to dive down Valtteri Bottas, going around the corner. No, Valtteri Bottas is just too far away. It's not looking like possible to get a dive. No, he's not dived. This time, yeah.
pit window. You'll be on the softs. Seconds. Gap to teammate behind is 8.6 seconds. Leading the race.
On lap 4, currently
Fuel
in
is at target
P4,
+3.
behind Daniel Ricciardo, 0 taken Valtteri Bottas. Next up is Daniel Ricciardo, which is not likely to be overtaken Daniel Ricciardo because he's too far up. And then soon he'll be going in for his pit stop, and then that will allow us to get into the lead of the race for a few laps, but then there's no chance that the Renault car is going to win this race. So, as we head into lap 4, we're going to pit in a couple of laps time, possibly lap 7 we're going to pit to get the best undercut, and there's running wide there, that's terribly wide there, and then that could have allowed Valtteri to get in. But if we did that, that would have been a very terrible part of the race, but then Valtteri would be in P3. And Sebastian Vettel is in the lead of the race. There's still been some ups and downs this race. Still got all 20 runners.
The gap to the car ahead is 3.9 seconds.
And Ocon is out the race. Let's get a replay of that in a minute. Here's the replay. And Esteban Ocon has got an engine failure, and he does not sound very happy. Esteban Ocon is out of the race, and his weekend has gone from good to bad in a matter of a lap.
Remember, box this lap. Keep an eye on your distance to the speed limit line as you approach.
Back on board, lap 5. And there's contact from Valtteri Bottas. Bottas has contacted us again. And there's a 3.9 second gap to Daniel Ricciardo, which is not likely to be broken on this lap, or if ever, because Ricciardo looks like to be having a pit stop in the next few laps, and then that will allow us to go into the lead of the race, and we cut the corner. And we're on the verge of getting a penalty, and we do not want a penalty in this race, because that will not help our championship, and then that possibly might drop us a few positions. So try not to get a penalty in this race. Going around in towards the penultimate corner. The engineer wants to pit, but we're not going to pit because we already made our strategy. We're going to pit at lap 7. And Vettel's pitting. Vettel has pitted, and that leads us into the lead of the race. We are leading the race for the first time. Nice clean stop from Ferrari. It's also a clean stop from the Aston Martin Red Bull Racing Team for Daniel Ricciardo. And for the first time ever, we are leading the Grand Prix here at the Bahrain circuit. We're leading, and Vettel has been dropped down quite far on the grid. So our undercut strategy seems to be the best strategy so far, because we're on the lead. So we're leading. We've got Valtteri Bottas and Max Verstappen behind us, and we make a little lock up there. We have a lock up. Turn around on lap 6 down to the old start finish rate. We're hopefully going to try and get a good enough position to try and get some championship points for the team. Currently we only have 10 points in our championship, and that will be 5th place, but wherever we can, any points will do for this weekend. Some more cars have got pit stops on lap 6. It might be a Valtteri Bottas Max Verstappen pit, which will let them in the pits and then give me a gap to see if I can try and get a big enough gap to get a good enough gap to get a lead, to get through the pit stops without having to be dropped by too many positions. On to lap 7 we go. And the gap is 2 seconds, it's 4 seconds to Verstappen. This race is looking to like one of the best races that we've had so far. And Valtteri Bottas is into the pit. Bottas has pitted. And Raikkonen has pitted as well.
There's 9 laps of fuel remaining.
There he goes to the soft. Quick stop there. Raikkonen goes on to the soft as well. Also another quick stop. And then Verstappen's on the soft. All the cars pitting are currently on the soft. And Nico Hülkenberg pits and gets onto the soft tyre as well. So this looks like to be all the cars switching from the super soft onto the soft tyre to help them get from this point of the race to lap 14. And there's Sergio Perez back on board ourselves in lap 7. We are pitting at the end of this lap. We have a good enough gap between ourselves and Kevin Magnussen, which will help hopefully not push us down the order too far. Hopefully we get out of the pit lane in no less than P5. The engineer is telling us that we have 9 laps of fuel remaining to the end of the race, which will hopefully mean we'll get to the end of the race. So come on to the penultimate corner, and to the start finish straight, and we are boxing for this race. Box. There we come to the grid. Let's see how fast our stop is for the Renault Sport F1 team. And that's a quick stop for the Renault Sport. Kevin Magnussen has come into pit for the Haas team. This looks like all the cars will be switching from the super soft to the soft. A few more cars into the pit lane. There's Kimi Raikkonen there having a somewhat good race after having that little grid penalty to start off with. Back to ourselves in 4th place. We have had a good pit stop. A pretty good pit stop. So when it comes to the next contract negotiation, I am going to try and negotiate for a quicker pit stop strategy, which will help the pit crew get us a quicker stop. Hopefully try and get the first driver status for the team, because I have seemed to be doing better than my first driver teammate, Nico Hülkenberg, who is currently nowhere to be seen in this race, and potentially not picking up any points in this race, which is going to affect the championship, or the constructors championship of the team, because any points we drop could be points that Red Bull pick up and get above us. So there's always that worry in the race, so we don't want Red Bull to overtake us in the championship, the constructors. So currently if the race stands like this, I am standing to stay in P5 with the 25 points. 10 points to the 5th place last round, and the 15 points, well, how many points it is for P4, downwards as well. There's a bit of change in the P5. Valtteri Bottas is currently behind us, and we're currently stuck behind Daniel Ricciardo for the podium position. There's some gaps to be broken down. So Daniel Ricciardo is a 2.5 second gap, and there's a couple of second gaps down to Valtteri Bottas. So guys, if you like this video, give us a comment down below and tell us where I should be if I continue the series for Season 2. We're currently on lap 9, still in P4, in the Renault, which is the highest finishing position that I will get to all season so far. So it's 3.8 seconds and 2.7 seconds to Valtteri Bottas. Those gaps look like to stay the same for the rest of the race, and those gaps will probably not be broken because Daniel Ricciardo is in a much faster car in the Red Bull. Valtteri Bottas is having a bad race in P5. He isn't having a good race, and we have a 3-second gap down to Valtteri Bottas.
Gap ahead is 3.6 seconds.
A bit very wide there. So guys, do you think I should join the Red Bull team for the next season? Give that a comment down below. Or if I should join any other team in the paddock, give us a comment down below. I'll probably be sticking with the Renault Sport team for the second season, and possibly if I do a third season of career mode, I'll possibly have a change of team, probably go up into the higher in the paddock to a better team which can win races and win championships week on week. So currently in the rivalry with Nico Hülkenberg, I am winning the rivalry because Hülkenberg is having a terrible season to start off with. He had finished P7 in the first round, and this round he is looking to be out of the top 10 for the first time this season. So going on to lap 11 of 14, we still have those 3-second gap and the 2-second gap. 3 seconds to Daniel Ricciardo and 2 seconds to Valtteri Bottas, which look like to be staying the same for the entirety of the rest of the race.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining. The gap to the leader is 9.2 seconds. We're leading our teammate by 29.3 seconds. Our gap to the car in front is 4.6 seconds.
Currently on lap 13 with Kimi Raikkonen behind us, and still Daniel Ricciardo is in front of us. So we look like we would not be breaking down the gap in the next couple of laps, because there's only less than a lap to go. Still less than 2 laps to go in this race. So still in 4th place, which looks like to be the biggest points haul of the championship season for us in the 2018 season.
3.9 seconds.
Still a 3.9 second gap to Daniel Ricciardo and a 3.2 second gap to Kimi Raikkonen. So we are getting a gap up to Kimi Raikkonen, but we are not breaking down the gap to Daniel Ricciardo, which is very unfortunate. So the tyres are starting to wear out a bit now, and we get the fastest lap of a 1:36. That's the fastest lap of the race so far. We were 1:36. If no one beats that, nobody's the fastest lap. The lap stands to be the fastest lap of the race so far. Currently on lap 14, the final lap of the race. We will definitely not be breaking down any gaps this weekend. So in the next race we go to the Chinese Grand Prix in Shanghai, which is going to look like to be a hopeful race for a few points. So let me talk you through the upgrades. We have a few, well, 3 major upgrades coming for the Spanish Grand Prix, round 5. A few major for Spain. And then after that there'll be more upgrades for the rest of the season. Hopefully get the Renault sports car to the top of the championship. So come around a couple of corners towards the end of the race. We have done it. We have finished almost in P4 to be the best finish for the Renault sports team this season. Come around into the penultimate corner of the track. Daniel Ricciardo is still 3 seconds ahead of us. Kimi Raikkonen is still 3 seconds behind us. And Sebastian Vettel has won it. And Lewis Hamilton has broken the fastest lap. The winner is Sebastian Vettel.
Thank you for all your hard work out there. That was a strong drive and a good finish. Well done.
Ferrari to take the victory today. And Anthony Davidson, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
Well, I'd say it's just raw pace, plain and simple. I mean, we could sit here and talk about strategy all day, the overtaking, looking after the tyres, but at the end of it all, if you want to win, you need a package that's got the speed over everyone else, and that's exactly what they had today.
And as we can see, it's time for the podium, and as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. It's a good result for Sebastian Vettel, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Now then, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Well, I have to give it to Kimi Raikkonen. Consistency, good battle, sensible driving. He can be pleased with that performance today.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari extend their lead at the top of the championship. Meanwhile, a strong weekend from Red Bull this time out, and they improve their position in the championship. After all that excitement, it's time for a lie down, I think. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye until the next race.